87 American League replay. I kind of put that on pause temporarily while I was finishing up 1973 because I got tired of going back and forth between the two. So I thought this would be the best way to do it is to finish that one off and then come back and get this one going full blast. So we're about ready to go. I want to make sure that I've got everything lined up. I don't think it's lined up quite the way I want it yet. Obviously, it is not. I'm way off. So let's move this over here. I was originally going to record this, but then I said, what the heck? Let's go ahead and do it live. That way I don't have to worry about uploading it and all that stuff. And looks like we're going to have to put both of these over here to make them fit. All right. So I think everything is now in place where you can see everything the way it needs to be, hopefully. Let's do the, let me make sure I didn't put any smudges on the camera lens there. Oh, the phone lens, rather. It's not a camera, it's a phone. Hey there, Mr. Ben. How you doing? Oh, Fall Class. Boy, I haven't played that in so long. I got to relearn that. That's been a while. All right, so we're to the 1987, back the way we, back to this project that I started a couple games and then went to 73, and now I'm back to this full force since 73 is over. This game was played April the 12th of 1987. It's in Seattle. It's the Twins and the Mariners. Mark Langston is your pitcher for the Mariners. He was 19-13 with a 3.84 ERA. And for the Twins, it's Bert Behome Blyleven, 15-12 with a 4.01 earned run average. Ballpark effects for the Kingdom. Singles are 1-5 for lefties and righty, but home runs 1-17. So the balls could be flying out of the Metrodome. I'm sorry, the Kingdom in this one with that 1-17 rating. Pitcher-catcher hold interface. Catcher Nieto is a +2. Blyleven's a +2, so we got a +4. And then for Seattle, we have Bradley a +2 and Langston a +1 for a +3. Hello, Thomas. Hello, Dav. How you doing? Since the 87 cards don't have, like on the pitchers, they don't have the balk and wild pitch rating, so I went on the computer. Langston's wild pitch rating is a 7, balk is a 3. For Blyleven, his wild pitch is a 10, balk is a 0. There are your starting lineups. Since Langston, the lefties on the mound, the Twins have benched all their lefties, so even Kent Herbeck is on the bench. They do have Tim Laudner, who's normally a catcher. He will be playing first base in this game. All right. Now, what I had been doing in the past on this thing is doing a scoreboard every 3 innings or whatnot, but I thought to be realistic, since this is on the West Coast, the other games would have already been finished. So we're going to go ahead and just run through those real quick before this game starts. For any Boston Red Sox fans out there, it did not go well, particularly for Bob Stanley. As we look at the score sheets, rather messy. But that is a snowman here in the top of the first, put up by the Blue Jays off of Bob Stanley. Bob Stanley did not get anyone out. He gave up 4 hits and 7 runs, and he hit a batter. The first 2 pitches, he hit Tony Fernandez to start the game. Then he walked Mullenix, then gave up singles to Mosby, Bell, Barfield, and Upshaw. Then he hit Rick Leach, and then he gave up a triple to Ernie Witt. And at that point, I said, that's it, you're coming out. So, not good at all. Bullpen had to be, for the Red Sox, was burned mostly. So, Jim Clancy benefited from the runs. And Blue Jays held on to win 13-5. Home runs in the game. Jesse Barfield, his first. And the only other home run was a meaningless home run, a 3-run homer in the top of the ninth, or bottom of the ninth by Jim Rice that cut the score to 13-3 as they had brought in Jose Nunez, and he ran to issues. He came in the 8th, did well, but in the 9th he gave up a double, a walk, and a home run, so they pulled him out, brought Mark Eichhorn in to close it out, and so the Blue Jays improved to 5-1, while the Red Sox fall to 0-6. All right. The New York Yankees and the Kansas City Royals in Kansas City. It was the Royals defeating the Yankees 8-4, and winning pitcher in that game was Dan Quisenberry. He's 2-1. Pat Clements, the loser, 0-1. Yankees now 3-3. Kansas City now 2-4. Home runs in the game: Ron Kittle, his first, and Willie Wilson, his first. So kind of went back and forth. Kansas City was up by 4, but then the Yankees tied it at 4 going to the bottom of the 7th. But in the bottom of the 7th, they couldn't hold it, and Clements gave up those runs, and then 2 more in the 8th by Kansas City just for good measure. Ricky Henderson made a big error, and that certainly allowed a couple of these runs to come in, and so Kansas City wins it by the score of 8-4. All right, the Chicago White Sox, who had surprised everybody. They were 5-0 going into this game against the Tigers, but they fall flat 14-6. Tigers crush the White Sox. Joel Davis, the loser, only lasted an inning and 2/3, gave up 5 runs. He's 0-1. Jeff Robinson went 4 2/3, but he couldn't qualify for the win. He started giving up some runs. So Mark Thurman came in and pitched 2 2/3 of relief to get the win at 1-2. Pat Sheridan home run, his first. Matt Noakes, his third. And for the White Sox, Tim Hewlett hit his first. But 14-6, and the White Sox suffer their first loss of the season. The Milwaukee Brewers lost their first game the previous day, came back and won this one 6-4 over Texas. A 3-run home run from Paul Molitor in the top of the 9th against Greg Harris was the difference, as the Rangers had a 4-3 lead going to the 9th. Cooper pinch hit for Pachorik, and got a single. Swain reached on a Pete O'Brien error, and that put 2 on, and put Molitor with the home run, and they win it 6-4. Winning pitcher was John Henry Johnson. He's 1-0. Loser Greg Harris is 0-1, and Dan Plesac, his second save. Brewers now 5-1. Texas drops to 2-4. The Baltimore Orioles and the Cleveland Indians played, and it was the Indians winning 7-1 over the Orioles. Both teams now 3-3. Winning pitcher was Ken Schramm. He went 8 innings of shutout starting, I should say, to improve to 1-0. And Eric Bell took the loss 0-1. Home runs in the game: Carmelo Castillo, his first. Rick Dempsey, his first. And I didn't fill in these guys here like I should have, but actually it was a grand salami for Rick Dempsey. I didn't put the runs in here for some reason. I don't know why. But Rick Dempsey had a grand slam for 4 runs there to give him a 6-0 lead. Rich Yett came in and pitched the 9th and gave a home run to Fred Lynn, his third, but that just broke the shutout. And ironically, the real game, Baltimore won 7-1, but this game, Cleveland wins 7-1. And the final game, the Oakland A's and the California Angels. It was the A's winning 5-4 to improve to 4-2. California drops to 1-5. Winning pitcher Dennis Eckersley in relief. Loser Willie Frazier. Jay Howell, his second save. Home runs in the game: Wally World, his first in the top of the first. And for Oakland, Mike Davis, his second home run of the season. 5-4 A's win it. Okay, so you're caught up on the out-of-town scoreboard for all the games on April the 12th. And now we can get going with the final game from April the 12th. And we got our Seattle Mariner colored dice, or at least as close as I can get to them. And let me make sure again that we're in good shape. I think we are. Okay, so Mark Langston is going to come out and finish those warm-up tosses. And Dan Mann from Gladden, he had not been playing much lately. Finally getting some playing time here. Of course, he was a regular for most of the season, but at the beginning of the season, he did not get a whole lot of playing time. Ironically, he is in right field for this game. He is not rated for right field by Strat, but I just went with his left field ratings of 2.0 E5. I figure it's the best thing to do because left field or right field really is not that, it's pretty nominal. So we'll go with that. All right, so Mark Langston, and I've got the game up on the computer so I can give you the stats as we go. Mark Langston is 0-1 with a 3.86 earned run average. 7 innings pitched, 8 hits, no walks, and 11 strikeouts. But he did take the loss. Gladden is 1 for 4 on the season, 250 average, a stolen base, and a strikeout. But he's only played one. This is his second game of the season, so take that with a grain of salt, I guess, because obviously sample size is very, very low. All right, we're underway from Seattle. It's a 1-2 for Gladden, and that is a solid home run against the lefty right off the bat. Look at it, folks. 1-2 against the left-hander. And right where my pen is pointing, you see a home run right off the bat. I'll bring it up a little closer so you can see it better, perhaps. 1-2, solid home run. As Jeffrey Goodman would say, clean as a baby's ass. If I can get this thing to focus right. Come on now, focus for me. Come on, there we go. 1-2. Oh, I had it. There we go. 1-2. You see it. Well, if I keep my hand straight, you might be able to see it without making everybody dizzy. Come on now. It's not going to do it for me, is it? It just doesn't want to cooperate. There we go. 1-2. You see it right there. 1-2. Solid home run. So Dan Gladden, a home run right off the bat. 1-0 Twins. Twins won this game real world 8-5. So not a good start for Langston as he gives up the long ball right off the bat. Here's Steve Lombardozzi. That's a 110 against the lefty. That's a single. So not starting off well at all for Langston. Lombardozzi not going to be held. And that'll bring up Kirby Puckett. Nothing on the Havoc. Here is the pitch to Puckett. 2-4 for Puckett. Oh, he just missed a home run. 2-4 is a fly to left. One away. And that'll bring up Gary Gaetti. Actually, a double play will get Langston out of the inning, and he could get by with just a 1 run. Keep his team in the game. 3-11, and that's a fly to left field again. Out number 2. And that'll bring up the designated hitter, Tom Brunansky. Nothing there. Hello, Mr. Utah Mike. I'm sure you're still probably growling over the BYU Utes game. I didn't see it at the end, but I heard there was controversy in that. So I think they call it the Holy War out there. 3-6 left-handed is a ground ball to short, and that's going to end the inning. We'll say it's a 6-4 fielder's choice. And the inning's over, but the Twins get a run. They do it on 2 hits, no errors, and a man left. We go to the bottom of the first. 1-0 Twinks on the leadoff home run from Dan Mann from Gladden. Hey, Replay Dugout, how are you doing? All right, here's Bert Behome Blyleven. And he will be facing Donnell Nixon, center fielder. Let me get the numbers on if I can find his card here. I don't have it up there. Let me do this real quick. All right, so I've got to manually put this in so I can get to the other side. All right, single and then a fly to left. Bear with me. Fly to left. And a ground out. Okay, so Bert Behome Blyleven. 1-0 with an ERA of even 2. He pitched 9 innings. Obviously gave up 2 runs, 3 hits, 2 walks, and 12 strikeouts. So pretty good first start for Blyleven. Let's see if that holds out. So Donnell Nixon. I think I'm a little fuzzy here, so let's see if I can fix this. When I tried to show the close-up of that card, I think that's what screwed everything up. So hopefully it's fixed now. We shall see. We're running a low budget here, folks. What can I tell you? All right, so Donnell Nixon steps to the plate. Blyleven. 3-7 for Nixon. Struck him out. Donnell Nixon out on strikes for Mike Kingery. It's a 110 for Kingery. He's going to fly to right field. 2 down. And of course, 1987 is where they had the basic was in this blue shaded stuff, and the font's kind of weird too. But I guess it was a 1-year experiment, and they dropped it after that. Here's Phil Bradley. 1-3 is a walk, so Phil Bradley draws a 2-out walk. Now he might be looking to run because with Blyleven, pitcher catcher is a +4, so if he gets the lead, that would be a 19. -2 for being held would be a 17, but the +4 make it a 21, where 19 is the most you can have. So 2-5, he will get the lead. He's a 2-5. He does not get the lead, so he will hold. And that will turn things over to Ken Phelps, the designated hitter. It's a 2-5, and that is another walk. So back-to-back walks from Blyleven. And now a clutch situation for first baseman Alvin Davis. That's a 2-4, and he's going to ground it to first, and Laudner will step on the bag himself to end the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 left thanks to the walks. At the end of 1, it's Minnesota 1 and Seattle nothing. As we go to the second inning. Missed opportunity for the M's. And Langston back out. Will be facing Tim Laudner, who's playing first base today, as Herbeck is being benched against the lefty. Laudner's a 4.25 at first base. That's a 5-7 right-handed, and that's a ground ball shortstop X, our very first X chance of the game. Quinones is a 3.31. So as a 3, he needs a 5 or higher to get to this. It's a 5 on the number, so he gets to it. He's an E31, which means you have to avoid 3, 4, 6, 15 through 18. And that's a 7. He barely does, so it's a tough play, but he makes it. Quinones throws out Laudner, 1 away for Mark Davidson. 3-5 against the left-hander is a walk. So now Langston's given up a walk. Davidson, decent chance. Again, Langston's a +3 when you add the pitcher-catcher interface. So 19 -2 plus it'd still be a 1-19 if he got the lead. It's a 2 through 5 to get that lead. And he cannot do it, so he will hold. And that'll bring up Greg Gagne with the spoon. 2-8, and that's a single to left field. And with the ball hit to left, Davidson will hold at second base. So runners at first and second with only 1 out for catcher Tom Nieto. Langston trying to get through the mess. 1-5 for Nieto against the left-hander. 1-2 is a home run. That's a 6. It will still be a double. The double is assumed to go to center field. Center fielder arm for Seattle. Donnell Nixon's a +2, so Gagne, who was not being held as a trail runner, is an 18. The +2 is a 20. So he's basically going to score automatically without a throw. So it's going to be a 2-run double off the bat of Nieto. And it's a 3-0 lead for the Twins as they're taking it to Mr. Langston. He's roughed up again for the second time. Off to a rough start. Hello, Mr. Robert, RJL. Mark Langston having a rough start right now. Now Dan Gladden, who led off the game with a home run, steps to the plate. 2-7, and that's a ground ball short. We're out number 2 with a ground ball A. Runner at second will hold. 2 down for Steve Lombardozzi. Lombardozzi singled his first time up. That's a 2-5, left-handed, ground ball to third, and that will end the inning. But 2 runs come on. They do it on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left. Go to the bottom of the third. It's 3-0 already. Twins looking to run away with this one if Langston's not careful. And Bert Blyleven given that lead to protect. And he'll be facing the hound dog, Jim Presley, to start things off for the Mariners. 6-10, and that's a ground ball third base X. That's Gaetti, and Gaetti is a 1E12. So no one's a 1, he's going to get to it, so we're just worried about the E12. E12, he has to avoid 12 or 16, and he barely does with that 14, so still a good play either way you go. So Presley retired by Gaetti, 1 away. To Scott Bradley, the catcher. 4-6, he's a left-hander. 4-6 is another walk. Third walk already issued by Blyleven. Bradley will not be held. And here comes shortstop Ray Quinones. Quinones, 5'11", right-handed. That is a ballpark blast. He does have normal power. Ballpark home runs are 1-17, but that's a 20. Might be the kind of game it is for the Mariners. You think on a 1-17 you hit a home run, but that's a 20. And it's just a deep fly to left and hauled in out there by Davidson for out number 2. And that'll bring up Harold Reynolds, number 9 hitter, switch hitter. 5-4, switch hitter batting left, 5-4. That's an in-home run chance, but he has weak power, so it will not be a home run. It will be a single 2 stars. And that will move Bradley to third. So runners are at the corners with 2 outs. Reynolds, an excellent chance to get the steal, try to get a scoring position. So he needs a 2 through 6 or a 9 to get the lead. And then it's a 9, so he gets the lead. That's an 18. -2 for being held is a 16. The +4, though, is a 20. So anything other than a 20, and he will be safe. And, in fact, he got such a big jump, they're not even going to risk the throw. Nieto's just going to eat it. And it's a stolen base for Reynolds. So second and third with 2 down. And it's up to Donnell Nixon to get some runs home. 6-10. It's a ground ball third base X. Once again, that's Gaetti. We know he's going to get to it with a 1, so we don't need to worry about that. We're worried about the E12, which is a 12 and 16. And that's a 12. He makes an error. How about that? Gary Gaetti, an E12. E12 and a 12 is right there as an E1. So that will be an error, and the Mariners will break on in the scoreboard with a run. It's unearned. Reynolds will go to third on the E5 by Gaetti, and it's now a 3-1 ball game. And now Donnell Nixon looking to get the lead. 2 through 7 will get him the lead. 10, he does not get the lead. I'm still fighting a cold. I thought I was doing well enough to be able to do something tonight, so we'll see how it holds out. Can feel the stuffiness still in me, though, but we'll keep going here. All right, so Blyleven to Kingery. 4-5, and that is a fly to center field to end the inning. Let the Mariners get a run. It's unearned on the error by Gaetti. So a run on a hit, 1 error, and there were 2 left. So at the end of 2 innings, it's 3-0 Twins. I'm sorry, 3-1 Twins. As the Mariners try to fight back one little bit at a time. Langston will be facing Kirby Puckett, center fielder. Puckett, first time up, flew to left. 2-10, left-handed, ground ball to third. Presley there to put it away. Over to Alvin Davis, 1 away. Here's Gaetti trying to make up for that error. That's a 4-5, and he strikes out. So Gaetti down on strikes, and amazingly, that's the first strikeout for Langston. Took him 3 innings to get one. He had 11 strikeouts in his first start. Took him 3 innings to get a strikeout here. Bernansky 5-5, and that's another strikeout. So now Langston starting to warm up a little bit. It was 1-2-3 to the Twinks. And we go to the bottom of the third. Still 3-1. And Phil Bradley will lead things off for the Mariners rather. Bradley walked his first chance. 3-8, and triangle result. 1-7 is a single. Anything else he lines to short. 16, so that is a liner to short. Gagne hauls it in, one away for Phelps. 2-6 for Phelps, yet another walk. Fourth walk issued by Blyleven. Phelps, of course, will not be held. He runs slow as mud. Alvin Davis, your batter. 3-8 for Davis. That's a single to center field, and as slow as Phelps in, he's going to have to hold. Plus Puckett's -4 arm will just reinforce that. So he will hold at second base. Runners at first and second. Only one out for the Hound Dog, Jim Presley. Blyleven, 5-10, and that's a ballpark blast. Normal power. 1-17 is a home run. That's a 16. It is gone. The Hound Dog, Jim Presley. Blyleven says, don't be cruel, but he just ended up at Heartbreak Hotel. That is a 3-run home run from the Hound Dog, Jim Presley. Presley crushed it. See what number that is for Presley as far as home runs go. You see what he's got on his stats. That is home run. That's the first one, actually. First home run of the season for Mr. Presley, and it couldn't come at a better time for Seattle. They now take a 4-3 lead, and the Gopher ball has bitten Bert Blyleven again. And that'll bring up Scott Bradley. Hey, Chuck, how you doing? All right, Blyleven to Bradley. 3-9, and that's a fly to center. That is out number 2. And that'll take it over to Ray Quinones. These cards are just now being used for the first time since this project started. So they're, even though I've had them a couple of years, they're still a little sticky. All right, here's Quinones. 4-11, right-handed. Fly ball left field X. That is Davidson. He's a 2-E2. So as an outfielder with a 2, he just needs a 4 or higher, which he gets. And an E2, he just has to avoid 3, 16, and 18, which he does. So it's a good play to end the inning. But the damage done, and a leadoff walk started the whole thing. 3 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and nobody left. At the end of 3 innings of play, it's Seattle 4 and Minnesota 3. So how the fortunes have changed. And now Langston given a reprieve. He's been given a lead to protect. And he's going to be facing the first baseman. Hello, Brandon. How you doing? Face the first baseman, Tim Laudner. 6-4 against a right-handed batter is a fly to left, 1 away. Just need Brian B. here. I got the benches and bullpens just for Brian B. And he's not even here. So I guess maybe he'll catch it later. Here's Davidson. 5-7, and that is a ground ball shortstop X. That is Quinones. He's a 3E31. So 3 shortstop. Has to have a 5 or higher. 2, that's going to get through for a base hit. Now is there going to be an error to add insult to injury? E31. Got to avoid 3, 4, 6, and then 15 through 18. That's a 7. He barely avoided it. It's going to be a base hit, but there won't be an error. So Davidson reaches, and he might be looking to get the lead. 2-5, he can get the lead. Almost a guaranteed steal. 5, he gets the lead, so that's going to be a 19. -2 is a 17. But then the +3 makes it a 20, so it's a 1-19. The only chance he's out is a 20. And he's in there safely, stolen base. Track meet is on for both teams with these pitcher-catcher hold ratings. So Davidson will have to be held on second base. There's Gagne. 6-11, and that's a ballpark single check, 1-5. That's a 4. It will be a base hit, only 1 star. So runner holds at third base. So runners are at the corners. Gagne will have to be held. He has the asterisk. If we don't hold him, he's going to get the steal automatically. So we've got to hold him. All right, here is Nieto. Doubled his first time up. Hit a 2-run double his first time up. 2-6 to the lefty. Struck him out. It's a big strikeout for Langston. And now he could get out of it by getting Dan Gladden. Clutch situation for Dan Gladden. Runners on the corners, 2 outs of a 4-3 game. The tying runs at third. 2-8 left-handed, and that's bad news for Langston. 1-19 is a double, 2 stars. So only 1 run will score. The runner on first, Gagne, will have to hold at third base. But we now have a tie game at 4 apiece. And it looks like maybe neither starter will be in the game for long. Second and third, 2 outs. Here's Lombardozzi. Langston, 3-9 to Lombardozzi. That's a single, but it's a clutch symbol. So he's going to lose the hit on the anti-clutch because we do have a clutch situation. So that, in turn, becomes a pop-out to short to end the inning. So he would have had the single, but the little omega sign there for clutch takes that hit away. And that's going to end the inning. So they only come away with 1. It could have been a lot worse for Langston, but he caught a break there. A run on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 left. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's 4-4. Not exactly a pitcher's duel. All right, Bert Blyleven. See if he can recover from that 3-run home run and gave up to Presley. Facing Reynolds, 4-6, and that's a leadoff walk again. 5th walk issued by Blyleven. That's trouble. Reynolds going for the lead. 2 through 6 or a 9. And he gets the lead. So he's going to steal it without a throw because they're not going to risk it. I mean, the only way you get him out is on 20, but if you throw a 1, 2, or 3, it's a possible throwing error. So they're just going to let him take second base. They'll hold him on there. And now here's Donnell Nixon. 5-12, and that is a triangle check. 1-14 is a single. That's a 12. It'll be a single, but just 1 star, so Reynolds will stop at third base. Now Blyleven might be in need of relief here. Look at their bullpen. They've got Atherton, Berenguer, Frazier, Reardon from the right side. He should be a righty, not a lefty. I had righty. No, I had left-hander there. And the only left-hander is the Colonel Joe Klink. So right now it looks like Keith Atherton has started to toss in the Twins bullpen as Blyleven is in serious trouble. Runs at the corners, nobody out. They're going to play back for the double play, although Nixon looking to run. So that might take the double play out of the equation. 2 through 7, he gets the jump. He does not, so he's got a hold there, so double play is in order. So they will play back for the double play. Hello, Canadian. How you doing? Blyleven to Kingery, 6-6 left-handed, 1-5 is a single, but that's a 20, so he lines it to second, and everybody stays put. Now a double play gets him out of the inning. A double play will get them out of the inning. Facing Phil Bradley. 2-4 for Bradley, and right on cue, ground ball shortstop A. That is a 6-4-3 double play. And I'll tell you what, Blyleven living right to get out of that mess. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 left. At the end of 4, we are tied at 4 from the Kingdom in Seattle. Langston has a fatigue of 8, Blyleven fatigue of 7, but they may not hang around if they can't pitch any more effective than what they're doing. So Langston now will be facing Kirby Puckett. He has done well with the heart of the order. They're 0 for 3. Actually 0 for 6. Each one of them 0 for 2. So here's Puckett. 5-8, and he strikes him out. So Puckett 0 for 3. Here comes Gary Gaetti. He's 0 for 2. That's a 5-12, and that is a ground ball right back to the pitcher Langston, who throws to Davis for 2 quick outs. And that'll bring up the DH, Tom Brunansky. 210 against the left-hander, and that's a solid home run. No avoiding there. That is a solid home run. 210 left-handed home run. 210 left-handed home run. Tom Brunansky goes deep. Home run for Bruno. And the Twins reclaim the lead 5-4. And that'll bring up Tim Laudner. So a 2-out, bases empty home run gives them the lead. 3-3 left-handed as a pop out to short. It's going to end the inning, but the damage is done. Go to the bottom of the 5th. It's Twins 5, Mariners 4. That'll bring up Blyleven to face DH Ken Phelps. If there's ever a player that the DH was designed for, it's Ken Phelps. 2-5, and that's another walk for Phelps. He's walked all 3 times. He's walked every time. He's 3 up and 3 walks. Here's Alvin Davis. Phelps obviously not being held. It's a 1-5, and that's another walk. Blyleven just can't find the strike zone. For Blyleven, that is walk number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got him for 7 walks. That is 7 walks for Blyleven in this game. And Atherton may be ready to come in. We shall see. Here's the Hound Dog. Get that 3-run home run. Boy, you like to get Blyleven through 5 innings so he can qualify for a win, though. So we're going to stick with him. See if he can help himself out. 4-11. That's a fly ball left field X. Again, that is Davidson. He's a 2-E-2. 2-18, so nobody can go anywhere. He's going to get to that. And an E2, he just has to avoid 3, 16, and 18, which he does. So it's a fly to the left, and everybody's got a hold. So 1 down for Scott Bradley. Double play will get him out of the inning. A double play last inning to close it out. 5-5, but not this time. 5-5, 1-7 is a home run. That's a 6, but he does have weak power against righties. So it's just a single 2 stars, but it's enough to tie the game. In comes Phelps. Going to third is Davis. And that's going to be it for Blyleven. He has to leave the game. They can't go on any further with him. He got lucky that Bradley had weak power. It's the only thing that saved him. So a call to the bullpen as Blyleven is being removed. Can't close the book on him yet because he's responsible for the players that are there. But we do have Keith Atherton coming in for the Twins. Atherton, 7-5 with a 4.54 earned run average in real world. So Atherton will be coming on to try to get out of the mess. Blyleven can lose it. He can't win it. Atherton dealing with Quinones. Runners at the corners. Nobody being held. Infield looking for the double play. Nothing on the Havoc. 3-9 against the right-hander is going to be a triangle chance. 1-5 is a single. That's a 4. So in basic, or I'm sorry, in advanced, it would be a possible sacrifice fly, but in super advanced, you split this, come down. 1-5 is a single. That's a 4. So Quinones with an RBI single scores Alvin Davis. That run is charged to Blyleven, and the Mariners lead it 6-5. Seesaw game back and forth. Bradley has to stop at second on the 1 star. That'll bring up Harold Reynolds. Atherton trying to get something. Let's see what I do. I hit something that caused that to be off. I don't know what I did. Thank you for letting me know that. All right, here is Reynolds. 3-12 for Reynolds. He gets plunked. So he gets hit by the pitch, and that's going to load the bases with still only one out. And Donnell Nixon, your batter. Infield looking for the double play. Nixon's a good double play candidate. 3-9, but he's going to walk in a run. Yet another base on balls. And the Mariners are doing all this without the benefit of a lot of hits. They've only had 2 hits so far. They've had 3 walks and a hit by pitch. That's helped their cause, and they have put up 3 runs this inning and now lead it by the score of 7-5. Bases still loaded. 1 out for Kingery. Hey, Doug, how you doing? Infield still looking for that double play to get out of the inning. 6-11, but that's a ballpark blast home run. He does have normal power. The home run is 1-17. That's a 1. It is long, and it is gone. The King, Mike Kingery, just hit a grand salami off of Keith Atherton, who has come on and put gasoline on the fire. A grand salami. And that is now 7 runs in the inning. It is now 11-5 Mariners. And boy, Atherton now is tired, but they're trying to get him through that last, try to get these 2 outs if he can. Here's Bradley. 2-4, and that's a ground ball to short. That's out number 2, but now we're going to have to bat around. So we've got to change all these columns because we have batted around. We're back to Ken Phelps, who led off the inning with a walk. But this game went from a seesaw back and forth to a total lambasting. Phelps 5-5, fly to left. That's going to end the inning. But damage done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 runs in the 5th on 1, 2, just 3 hits. But there were 1, 2, 3 walks and a hit by pitch. Nobody left. At the end of 5, it is now 11-5. We can close the book on both Blyleven and Atherton. Let's see. Blyleven is going to give up. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3 of these runs were Blyleven's. So he gives up 7 runs in 4 1/3 innings. Hits, he gave up 1, 2, 4, 5. But the telltale sign were the walks. He walked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 walks. Struck out only 1. He struck out Donnell Nixon to start the game and got no other strikeouts. So a very rough outing there. And 2/3 of an inning for Atherton, who gave up 1, 2 hits, 4 runs. I'm sorry, 3 runs. Or was it 4? Maybe it was 4. Yeah, 11 runs. Yeah, it was 4. All right. And hit a batter. Walked 1, didn't strike out anybody. So very rough outing there. Very, very rough outing. And the happiest guy in the building is Mark Langston, who's now can relax and kind of just throw strikes and get through the game. Twins will bring in another relief pitcher just to eat some innings and try to, save the rest of the bullpen. That'll be Juan Berenguer. Starter and a reliever is Berenguer. But he hasn't pitched for a while, so he's in relief. He's got a long relief rating. So Berenguer will be the new pitcher that comes in for the Twins when the bottom of the 6th rolls around. And fortunately for the Twins, since they are the visiting team, they only have to cover 8 innings. That 9th inning they won't have to worry about. So that'll also save their bullpen just a tad. So Langston now enjoying an 11-5 lead. And he'll be facing Mark Davidson. 1-7, and that's a single. So the hit parade continues on both sides of the house. It's not like Langston's fooling anybody. Here's Greg Gagne. And the score, what it is, base stealing, I'm just kind of cutting that off. Not really worrying about that. 6-9, and that is a 1-6 single. That's a 4. It'll be a single 1 star. And you wonder how long Langston can go. Here's Nieto. That's a 5-6. Right-handed, struck him out. So a big strikeout there to at least get the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up Dan Gladden. He's homered and doubled, 2 for 3. 1-3, and look at this. 1-15 is a home run. That's a 20. It'll be another double for Dan Gladden. That will score Davidson. The double is assumed to go to center. So Gagne as a trail runner was not being held, makes him an 18. Donnell Nixon's a +2, makes it a 20. He's going to score automatically. It's a 2-run double from Dan Gladden. And it's an 11-7 ball game, and that's going to be it for Langston. He cannot continue. He will qualify for a win, but boy, at what cost? And now the Mariners have to go to their bullpen, figure out who they want to go to. They're going to go to Mark Huseman. Mark Huseman, a right-hander, will come on. So he will be on for the Mariners. See what he can do. In the 87 season, he was 2-3 with a 5.04 ERA. Not the best, but kind of want to save your better relievers for the later innings. And just hope you can survive with Huseman. Can't close the book on Langston because he's responsible for Gladden. All right, here's Lombardozzi against Huseman. 1-6, and that's a ground ball to short A. Want the runner at second, he has to hold. That's out number 2 for Kirby Puckett. Puckett 0 for 3, and all this hitting, Puckett and Gaetti are combined 0 for 6. 5-5, and not anymore. That's a double to center field for Kirby Puckett. And now we can close the book on Langston. He's going to give up his 8th run of the game, but he can still win it. Because of the big run support, he can still win it. Puckett now is at second base. 3 runs are in the inning. It's 11-8, so the game's not over by any means. And here is Gaetti. 6-4, and that's a ground ball third base X. That's the hound dog, Jim Presley. And Presley is a 2E24. So as a 2, he just has to have a 3 or better, which he does. Ground ball G1. His error rating is a 24, so he's got to avoid 3, 9, 12, 15, and 18. And that's a 12. It's going to be an error. The hound dog commits the error. E24 and a 12. That's going to be a E1 one base error, so E5. And that will put Puckett to third. Keeps the inning going for Brunansky, who homered his last time up. So the Mariners aren't exactly pitching clean either. 4-7, that's a ground ball to second base X. That's Reynolds. He's a 2E21. Nobody was being held, so he keeps all his ratings. A 2 and a 2, though. That's not good. That's a single 1 star. That'll load the bases. Assuming there's no error. E21, he's got to avoid 4, 13, and 17, which he does, but it's going to get through for a base hit, and the bases are loaded. No, I'm sorry, Puckett was already on third, so he scores. My bad. Puckett was on third, so he scores. And Gaetti will take second base. That's the first run charged to Huseman. And now it's an 11-9 game. Tying runs are on base. And the 9th man to bat in the inning is Tim Laudner, but he will be called back. As with the right-hander in the game, the Twins now can start unloading their bench. And Mr. Kent Herbeck is going to come on and take over at first base for Laudner. He will pinch hit and take over at first base for Laudner. He's also a much better defender at first base, 2E6. But more importantly, they want his left-handed bat to do something against Huseman right here. Runners at the corners, nobody being held. 2 out, but 4 are in. 4-9 to a lefty is a ground ball second base C that's going to end the inning. So Huseman gets out of it without further damage, but still, for the Twins, they put 4 runs on the board, and it is now an 11 to 9 ball game rather. 11 to 9, and now Juan Berenguer coming on. So Herbeck is now the new first baseman. Let's close the book on Langston. It was not a good book at all. Let's see here. Langston gave up 7. Let's see. He gave up 8 runs. 8 runs. He went 5 and 1/3 innings. Still enough to get him a win. Check hits. 2, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 hits. Walks and strikeouts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got him for 5 strikeouts. Walks. Just the 1. So Langston, 5 1/3 innings, 11 hits and 8 runs, but he still can qualify for the win because his team puts so many runs on the board. So Berenguer pitching the bottom of the 6th. Brian B., your lineup boards are back just for you. You're all happy now, right? Okay. Well, you had to pinch hit for Herbeck. I mean, he's the normal first baseman. They just benched him because of the left-handed starter. And now the righty reliever's in there. You kind of had to go back to Herbeck. So, all right, here's not Davidson. It should be Alvin Davis. Alvin Davis starts the bottom of the 6th. The Mariners batted around in the 5th. The Twins almost do it in the 6th. 3-9 for Davis is a solid single. Mariners picking up where they left off. Davis will not be held. Here's the Hound Dog. He's already had a 3-run homer in this game. Focuses off again. All right, let me see what happened here. I did something to cause it. I don't know what I did, but I did something, obviously. All right, so Berenguer to Presley. 6-6, and that is a 1-10 single, but it's a 13, so he lines it to short. 1 away for the catcher, Scott Bradley. Oh, wrong one. Havoc is with the D20. All right, Berenguer to Bradley. 6-2, and that's a triangle again. Single 1-6, that's a 5. It'll be a single 1 star. And that's going to put runners at first and second for Ray Quinones. Berenguer to Quinones, 2-10. That's a ballpark single check. It is a 1-5. That's an 11, so he will line it to short. Or out number 2. And that brings up Harold Reynolds. Clutch situation for Harold. He loses quite a few hits on the clutch results against right-handers, so he's definitely anti-clutch. 3-7, and he's going to ground it to first, and Herbeck takes to the bag himself to end the inning. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. We played 6. It's 11-9, anybody's game as we go to the 7th inning. And I usually don't take an actual 7th inning stretch break, but I might have to with this one. This game is going quite a while. We're already up to 53 minutes and only played 6 innings. So because of all the runs, combined 20 runs already in 6 innings. So Huseman's back out. He's got a fatigue rating of 3, so he can go a little while as long as he's effective. And he'll be facing, Mark Davidson. Mark Davidson is your batter. He led off the previous inning with a single and scored. And they sent all 9 to the plate. 4-4, and that's a ballpark single check. 1-5. That's a 13, though, so it's a fly to right field. I know it's supposed to be a liner to short, but when nobody's on base, I go to the original result here as long as it doesn't affect anything base runner wise. So I'm going to keep the fly ball to right field just to give us, more outs. There's too many line out to shorts and too many line out to second. So try to give a little variety there when it doesn't affect any base runners. All right, here's Gagne. He's 3 for 3, 3 singles. That was all off Langston, though. 111 against the right-hander. That's a ballpark home run. That's a 17. That's a 17. It is gone. Greg Gagne with the spoon just gagged Huseman with the spoon. It's now 11-10. Greg Gagne, 10 home runs on the regular season. Found one here. Again, 111 is the triangle, or the diamond shot, I should say. 1-17, that is a 17. So 11-10 our score, and here is Nieto. That's a 6-10. That's a fly ball center field X. That's Nixon. 3E6. I was afraid my voice wouldn't hold out with this, fighting this cold, but I didn't expect all these runs either, so we'll see how long I can hold out. 3E6 for Donnell Nixon. As a 3, he needs a 7 or higher to get to this. He does with a 9, so that's an F2. He's an E6. He's got to avoid 3, 4, 15, and 18, which he does. So Donnell Nixon makes the catch for out number 2. Or Greg Gagne also was a wrestler as well. Or here's Gladden. 4-2, and that's a ground ball to first base C, so I call that a 3-1 put out to end the inning. Forgot to do the totals in the previous inning here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they left on, I believe, 2. So, all right, so the home run from Gagne cuts this to an 11-10 game as we go to the 7th inning stretch. 11-10 in the 7th inning stretch. And I know I need a slight break. My throat does, probably. And there you can look at the benches and bullpen if you want to strategize with who might be coming in next or who might pinch hit, as we're in the 7th now, so substitutions a little bit more freer to be made. Bullpen arms, who they have available. Twins are down to 2 righties, Frazier and Reardon, and a lefty Klink. The Mariners are down to 3 righties, Monteleone, Nunez, Reed, and 1 lefty, Wilkinson. So that's who they have available. And let's see. Let me go ahead and I'm going to take a quick, 30-second break at least, I think, just to drink some water and try to wet my whistle, so to speak, and try not to sniffle too much if I can avoid it. I was going to bring Tabby up here, but she's in the bedroom and she's curled up in a little ball, sound asleep, so I didn't want to disturb her. Like I said, I wasn't even going to do this live. I was going to record it, but then at the last minute I decided to do it live. So, and this is kind of the game I get. 11-10. Go figure. All right, 7th inning stretch is over. Yes, that is Al Newman. Yes, absolutely. It is Randy Bush, Mark Salas, Al Newman, and Roy Smalley. Those are the guys on the bench. Mickey Brantley, Bob Kearney, Domingo Ramos, Dave Valley, and John Holy Moses are the position players for the Mariners that are on the bench. All right, so Donnell Nixon will lead it off. 1-7, and that's a solid single to right field. The hit parade continues. Now this time, -1 for Berenguer to go with the +2, so that's a +1 for Berenguer. So that won't be quite as bad on the hold. So if he does get the lead, it'd be on a 1-17, but they're going to still try for it. 2 through 7 gets them the lead. And they don't get it, so it's a moot point. So Nixon will hold. Here is Kingery, who hit that grand slam his last time up. 3-7, and that's damage all the way anyway. 3-7 is a 1-4 double. 5-20 is a single. That's a single 2 stars. And that will put runners at the corners with nobody out for Phil Bradley. And now Berenguer running into trouble. Infield for the Twins. The way this game is going, they need outs. They'll give it the run to get 2 outs. They're playing back for the double play. 4-11, and that's a fly ball left field X. That is Davidson. He's a 2-E2. So this could be big to avoid a sacrifice fly. So as a 2 in the outfield, a sacrifice fly, to avoid a sacrifice fly, he's got to have a 16 or higher. It's the only way to do it. It's a 10, so it's going to be an F2, which means that'll be a sacrifice fly. And we'll check for an error. He's an E2, so the 2 is 3, 16, and 18. So it's good there, but it will be a sac fly. D20 was not quite high enough, and Donnell Nixon will score. It's now a 12-10 game as Phil Bradley brings home the run on the sac fly. And that'll bring up Ken Phelps. Phelps. 3-6, and that's a strikeout. Big strikeout there. Out number 2 for Alvin Davis. Kingery will be held, but won't go anywhere. 6-6 to a lefty. That's a 1-13 double. That's a 4. It's a 2-star double, though, so Kingery has to stop at third base, despite there being 2 outs. The 2 asterisks keep him there. So second and third for the Hound Dog, Jim Presley. Berenguer, this is his last stand. He has to get, if he doesn't get Presley, he's going to be out of here. That's a 2-5, and he got him to ground to short to end the inning. So the Mariners leave 2 on. They do get a run on 3 hits. No errors, but they left 2 on base. At the end of 7, it is 12-9 in favor of Seattle. And I think that's going to be it for Berenguer. He will be done for the day. So Berenguer is going to go 2 innings. And he's going to give up 2, 3, 4, 5 hits and a run. And he's going to walk no one and strike out 1. And that's going to be it for Huseman as well. Huseman's day is done. Huseman goes 1 2/3. And he's going to give up 1, 2, 3 hits and a run. Or is that 2 runs? 3 hits and 2 runs, my bad. 3 hits and 2 runs. Not 1 run, 2 runs. Let's see. Didn't walk anybody. Didn't strike out anybody. So coming in now is eastbound and down Jerry Reed. Jerry Reed will be making his way into the game from the bullpen. Jerry Reed, 1 2 with a 3.42 earned run average for Mr. Reed. So Jerry Reed will be on. The April 13th schedule is only a partial schedule, so some of these teams don't play tomorrow, so we'll see. They may get some extra bullpen rest. But right now, they're just trying to win this game. Jerry Reed is in there to face Lombardozzi, Puckett, and Gaetti. Do you pinch hit for Lombardozzi? They're going to pinch hit for Lombardozzi. They want some offense in there. So let's see who they're going to go to off the bench. Newman would play second base, but he's not going to be the one hitting because he's not a very good hitter. But Al Newman will take over at second base for Lombardozzi in the bottom of the 8th. He is a 3-10. But the pinch hitter is going to be Randy Bush. So Randy Bush is going to be the pinch hitter. So Bush pinch hits, and Newman will take over at second base. But Randy Bush will do the pinch hitting, and Lombardozzi will get the rest of the game off. So it'll be Bush, Puckett, and Gaetti against Jerry Reed here in the top of the 8th of a 12-10 ball game. 3-11, and that's a ground ball to third, and that's one away. Presley takes care of Bush. He's out of there. And that brings up Kirby Puckett. 6-10, ground ball third base X. We're back to Presley again. 2E24. 2 and an 8. He'll get to it. E24 is the question. He's got to avoid 9, 12, 3, 15, and 18. And he does, so it's a good play for Presley. 2 down. And it's up to Gary Gaetti. That's a 5-5, and that's a triangle chance. 1 to 2 is a single. That's an 18. He's going to line it to short. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Jerry Reed. What a novelty. What a novelty. I believe that's the top of the third. They had a 1-2-3 inning. The Mariners have never had a 1-2-3 inning. That's the second 1-2-3 inning for the Twins. So now the Twins need to come up with a relief pitcher here in the bottom of the 8th. They're going to be facing Bradley, Quinones, and Reynolds. So they're going with the Colonel, Joe Klink. Joe Colonel Klink coming in from the bullpen. He's not carded by Strat, but we do have this card here to represent him. Joe Klink. So the Colonel, Joe Klink, is on. Left-hander to face the left-hander Bradley, right-hander Quinones, and switch hitter Reynolds. The Colonel, Joe Klink. That leaves Frazier and Reardon in the pen for the Twins. Reed will look to get the save in the 9th, presumably. So here is Klink the lefty to Scott Bradley. 6-7, and that's a strikeout. So Klink comes in, strikes out Bradley. 1 away for Quinones. That's a 5-8, and that's a ground ball second base X. That's the new second baseman, Al Newman. I'll tell you what, bring a new player in and the ball finds you. 3E10. Second baseman of 3. He needs a 5 or better, 5 or higher, and he gets it. So G3 is good enough. And on an E10, 4, 16, 17, and 18. That's good play as well. So good play for Newman. He said, what, me worry about that ground ball? I'm not worried about that ground ball. So there's 2 outs, and here's Reynolds. 5-7, switch hitter batting right-handed. That's a solid single for Harold Reynolds. He's looking to get the lead. Now, Klink is a -4 hold, though. So -4 and the +2 is a -2 for Klink. His hold is a -2. So that'd be a -4. So that would be a 1 to 14 if he got the lead. They're still going to try it. 2 through 6 or a 9. Don't get it. So they don't get the lead, so they're not going to get to try it. Here's Donnell Nixon. 3-4 against the left-hander. It's a ground ball to short. And with the A, it would have been a double play, so we'll call it a fielder's choice. 6-4. No runs a hit, no errors, a man left. We go to the 9th. Last chance for the Twins. It is 12-10. Jerry Reed back out to try to close the deal. If he cannot, Edwin Nunez, who leads the league with 3 saves, is loosening in the pen. And 2 up for the Twins. It'll be Brunansky, Herbeck, and Davidson. Let's see. I don't think anybody on the bench is any better. Mark Salas, 275 hitter. I'm sorry, Roy Smalley's 275. So he might be used, but they would probably hit him for Although, how do you hit for Gagne when he's 4 for 4 with a home run? That's kind of hard to do. They would save Salas to hit for Nieto if it got that far. So they'll see if they can get that far. I did something to affect the focus. I don't know what I did. I put something in the way there, apparently. Thank you for letting me know that, Brian B. Yep, Jerry Reed, eastbound and down. So here we go. Bernansky to lead it off. 12-10, top of the ninth. Bernansky did homer. He is 2 for 4, homer and a single. 6-12, it's a ground ball to the pitcher, and that's going to be one away. Here is Kent Herbeck. His second at bat, he came in and pinch hit for Laudner in the 6th and grounded out to second base. Whoops, Suadice. Let's redo that again. That was Suadice big time. 6-6, left-handed, fly to center field. Donnell Nixon hauls it in. 2 downs up to Mark Davidson. He's a 267 hitter, so you're pretty much going to stick with him. He's 2 for 3 on the game with a walk and 3 runs scored, so not going to pinch hit for him. 4-10, and that's a fly ball center field X, but it's not a given. Nixon's a 3E6. So as a 3, he needs a 7 or higher to get to this. He does. Now can he avoid the error? And he's 6. He's got to avoid 3, 4, 15, and 18. And he does. So Donnell Nixon hauls it in, and there's your ball game. In a wild one from the Kingdom, the Mariners defeat the Twins by the score of 12-10. Winning pitcher is Mark Langston. He is now 1-1. Losing pitcher is, unfortunately for him, let's see if it's Blyleven, or did they never came back to tie the game. So Blyleven is your loser. And I believe he is now 1-1. Save goes to Jerry Reed. He gets the save. He went 2 innings and didn't give up anything. 2 consecutive 3 and outs. Didn't walk anybody, didn't strike anybody, but he didn't need to. Joe Klink went 1 inning, gave up a hit, nothing else, and got a strikeout. So let's look at the totals for both teams. Errors, there were an error on each side, if I remember correctly. Let's see here, were there 2 errors on one side? I know Presley had an error and Gaetti had an error. E5 here, E5 here. Both third basemen made an error. So they each had the error to be responsible for. For hits, 2, 4, 7, 8, 13, 14. So 14 hits total for the Twins. For the Mariners, 1, 3, 4, 7, 9, 12, 13 hits for the Mariners. Left on base for the Twins, 1, 2, 4, 6. They leave on 6. Twins left on 6. Mariners left on 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10. They left on 10. Minnesota won the real game 8-5, but the Mariners win this game 12-10. And player of the game, boy, in a losing effort, you could give it to Gagne. He went 4 for 4 with a home run, 3 runs scored. Pretty good, I would say. But you kind of have to give it to the winning team. So Alvin Davis certainly did well. He went 3 for 4, 2 singles, a double, 2 runs scored, and a walk. So although his numbers weren't exactly, mind-boggling, it's kind of a mix and match of who would be the player of the game. I could give it to Kingery. Even he was 2 for 5, but his grand slam really put the game away. So I'm thinking I'm giving this to Mike Kingery. Jerry Lawler's not the king. Mike Kingery is the king. So we'll give it to Kingery. Give it to Kingery. Could give it to Reed. Reed did well, 2 innings, shut everything down, but I'm giving it to Mike Kingery for his grand slam because that really opened up the game. Before that grand slam, it was a close game. So, but that gave him a 10-5 lead at the time, 11-5 lead at the time actually. So that's what I would want to go with on that, I believe. So that's what I'm going to go with is Mike Kingery as your player of the game. Let me go to the standings now. And let's see here. Let me get the box score so I can figure out who the standings were before this game started on the computer here. Oops, not that one. I've got to enter this game on the computer after this is over. All right, the Mariners improved to 5-1. Twins dropped to 2-4. So how do you like that? Twins, the Mariners, and the White Sox are tied at 5-1. Very much surprising. Twins, a disappointing 2-4. But next game on the schedule will be, of course, the April 13th game, which happens to be my birthday, April the 13th. Not 1987. I was 22 in 1987. But it will be, and I'll have just as a quick little snapshot here, that's the bullpen and benches. It'll be the Cleveland Indians taking on the Yankees in New York. I believe it's going to be Greg Swindell against Charles Hudson. I think that's the matchup in that game. But it'll be the Yankees against the Indians. Indians will be carrying one extra pitcher. Yankees carrying one extra bench player. So that's what will be the game on the April 13th date. Like I said, not everybody plays on the 13th. There will be a few teams that are off. So we'll get that all going, and I'll play the other games offline to get ready for that April 13th video. And I did Canadian. I had fun. My breathing was a little bit suspect there toward the end, but with all the talking and whatnot, and 22 runs and 27 hits and a lot of walks. I mean, walks were out the yin-yang. So Blyleven walked 7 on his own in 4 1/3 innings. After Blyleven left, though, the control came back. It was only one other walk by the Twins the rest of the game. But the Mariners win it by the score of 12-10. Thank you all for tuning in and spending part of your Wednesday night with me. Like I said, next game will be probably on Saturday because Friday night I'm at a football game and I don't have enough time. I don't think I'm going to have enough time to play all these games tomorrow before, it's just going to be too soon. So Saturday will be the Yankees and the Indians. Don't know if it's going to be early morning or it's going to be in the evening. Don't know which. I know I've got yard work to do and stuff, so I want to, with the limited daylight, I really want to get out there in the daytime. So this would probably be a 7 o'clock kind of thing, or I may just record it and put it out, at some point. I don't know which. But anyway, that's good from here. Hope you all have a great rest of your Wednesday. Don't forget to check out RJL, who's going to be doing some Fall Classic once again. I know he did the 86 Mets a little bit, but he's going to be doing 1919, the Black Sox and the Reds and all that, Excuse me. I was trying to hold out that sneeze. I couldn't do it. But 1919 should be very interesting in Fall Classic. I'll almost have to go back and relearn Fall Classic. It's been so long since I've seen it played. So I may tune in for that just to do a learning, if nothing else. Because Fall Classic is a pretty decent game. It's a lot like APA, which kind of is a downside, but there are a lot of perks to it as well that make it pretty fun. It's something, different besides the usuals. I don't know how we're going to know if the series is fixed. I'm not sure if he's doing a series. I think he's doing a one-and-done tournament or something. So, so they might meet each other in the finals. You never know. Well, I apologize for sneezing in everybody's ear. I was trying to hold off as best I could, and when I'm going live, there's no mute button. So if I was recording, I could have paused it. But really, what are you going to do? That's what live streaming is all about. Catch the good and the bad. So my terribly messy score sheet, there you go. Now I've got to go sit through here and put these things in the computer so that I can get all the stats updated and everything like that. So until next time, it's a one and gone tournament. Okay, very, very good. Thank you very much for that. A's and the Red. Athletics. I guess they were called the Athletics back then. Athletics and the Red is it's going to be Sunday night. Athletics and the Reds Sunday night. All right, so that's going to do it from here. Hope you, like I said, hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Hope you enjoyed this presentation of Strat-O-Matic Super Advanced 1987. One of my favorite seasons. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play. I would choose to play it. And I will see you all down the road.